Yes, I'm so thankful to have you. So thank you for meeting with me today. And on behalf of HALSUG, we thank you as well. We're super excited for this interview.
Yes, I'm excited too. Oh my goodness. This is my first time one of my first times talking to um a I guess a global organization such as yourself. So yeah, it was exciting.
Yes, yes. So I definitely want to respect your time and everything. So if that's okay with you, we can go ahead and jump into the questions.
Yeah, sure, of course.
All right. So first, House of Jesus is very curious to know who is Chantel Nicole as an artist, and you want to let us know how or why you named yourself the Bop Princess, or really curious.
Yeah, so Chantel Nicole as an artist is a very eclectic artist. I have different influences. So most of the time when I am writing or I guess choreographing any kind of thing that goes into Chantel Nicole as an art form, as an entity. It's coming from the influences like Janet Jackson and pop music from way back when up until now. I mean, like grew up listening to 2000s pop and R&B. So like the way I write those songs are definitely what comes forward in my music. Um have the whole song, I've got the bridge. So usually I try to keep everything really cohesive and tell a story, but within like a 3 minute frame. When I first started making music, I wasn't that like concise, but now I've gotten a lot better. So my artistry becomes a lot more not respectable. That's not the word I want to use here, but it becomes a lot more tighter so that the product that I'm presenting is, exactly like my influences, but just on a whole nother level because it's my mind and my creativity. And that's why I kind of call myself the Bop Princess because every time I write a song, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a bad, it takes me forever to write it, or even if it doesn't take me that long, I then realize that I got the juice. I write the words. These are really good songs. Like they're solid songs. And then people usually, oh, it's a bop, girl. It's a bop, young, old, especially guys. It's so funny when I like have guy coworkers, oh, you sing or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And I show them my music, and they're like, oh, okay, this is a bop. This is a bop. It's usually the guys that say it more than the girls, unless they're part of stan culture. But yeah, the bop princess is because I write bops, and I have to admit, like, if I didn't keep like two or three of the songs are now on my album, I could hear them being like something really good for like a K-pop artist because that's kind of what I'm influenced by as well. So I'm like, this is perfect.
Wow, that's so funny. I love that. No, your songs are definitely bops for sure. And I love that you incorporate the 2000s in there because that's my favorite era, especially the R&B.
Oh
So
my
yeah,
God, yeah.
doing it. Um, so actually one of your songs, I Like You, is one of your most popular ones. And
Hmm.
why do you think this song stands out more than the others?
I think the song stands out in the way that Blackpink's music stands out every like several years when it comes out. It's like, finally, here it is. That's what it was like with I Like You. It was a good song if people liked it. And I released two more singles, but then suddenly I'm gone, like the last Airbender. Like you could not find me. So I mean, people liked the song, and before I like basically disappeared off the face of the earth to work on this album here. Um I actually was like promoting a lot, and I have a lot of other songs people listen to, but I Like You was the one that people just kept going back to, especially the guys talking about, oh, this is a bop. This is so good. Um, so yeah, I think because it was a good song and it's so catchy, and at the time I was really like I was still in college at the time, so I was still in my teens, trying to figure out how to write this song when I wrote it. I recorded like a year or so later, but like I remember like, oh my gosh, this is like such a sweet song, and I really like K-pop. I want to write a K-pop song, and that's where I was going with it. And now I have this song that sounds like a very old school K-pop song. Like if you put it up any K-pop song now, I'd probably get smoked. But like when I first started, I come from a dance background. I used to do background dancing. Before Street Woman Fighter was a thing, that was my life. People paid no attention to the dancers. um, yeah, so I was like, I want to write a song I like K-pop. Bam, and that's how I Like You came to be. So a lot of K-pop people found it. K-pop coverists, a lot of Black K-pop coverists actually found it. Alexa was supposed to cover it because she and I kind of became like cover friends on Instagram. I wish she had covered it before she blew up. Blew up. No, 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 just a little promotion. Like, yes, I wasn't expecting her to get all like pop, and we were just cool friends. I was like, could you dance to the song? I'll pay you. Like, I'll pay you like internet buddies. Um, But yeah, I think people like it because it sounds like a K-pop song for sure. And it's been out the longest, so people are waiting for me to drop a record. That's what came out, and that's what's kind of like been the thing. Like every time people see me, it's the choreography. I'm like, oh gosh.
Oh, yeah, no, that definitely makes sense. And I couldn't imagine being in college and trying to release music. Like, props to you. Like, you were
Thank
doing your
you.
thing.
Appreciate
Um,
that.
yeah, so actually, speaking of choreography and dance, not only do you sing, but you also, do your thing dancing. Which one do you prefer more, and which one do you think comes more naturally to you?
Oh, interesting. Okay. If you would have asked me this like 4 years ago, I would have said I like dancing a little bit more because I can move. Like when I write my music, I move. And now I kind of enjoy singing. Oh God, it's hard, but I like singing a little bit more because I would rather learn how to, deliver a melody about love in its 500th iteration of my songs. But I rather kind of figure that out first and then figure out choreography as opposed to letting dance movement dictate how I write. And I know that's so weird, but that's how I write. When I think, okay, is this danceable? Is this fun? Do I want to jig to it? So yeah, now it's just like, okay, I like this melody. The melody will dictate the movement as opposed to movement dictating the melody. I sometimes combine the two. Like I've balanced my mind, but I think now I'm more like, okay, let me just sing, but it's hard. In silence, I'll start dancing, but usually I kind of opt to sing first. Oh, look at you with the tricky questions.
Definitely wasn't meant to trip you up at all, but I was just curious because you do both so well. So I was just
Thank
wondering
you.
what comes more naturally to you.
Mm.
You also mentioned, about your songwriting and where do you feel like a lot of your inspiration comes from when writing lyrics? And do you ever get like writer's block and how do you overcome that?
Um, but no, for me, when I don't really get writer's block as much. Again, 4 years ago, you would have called me out. Would have been like, you write a song yet? No. Maybe not 4 years ago, but yeah, no, about 4 years ago. Um, but yeah, no, I think my inspiration comes from like love, self-love, love of your friends, love of your family, love of it's just love of life, love of someone else. A lot of my songs have been love songs. The first three songs I wrote were love songs. I like you, I want you, I miss you. So the beginning, middle, and end of a relationship. um and then I wrote like a little flirty track called Like It, and then Here I Am is sincerely about love and saving somebody I love from someone that's hurting them. Um, but yeah, I think love. How do I want to feel? Like, how would I want to feel hearing this song in the audience? How would I feel um hearing this word as like, a private interaction? Like, oh, I like you. Oh, you like me? Stop it. It's something sweet. There's something endearing. I miss you. And that song's about never getting an answer back. And that song is, I'm never gonna get that, oh, I miss you too, or maybe you will. You never know. All right. So I think I like the storytelling that comes with songwriting, writing about love, thinking about how I would want my relationship to be, how I would want to be treated. Because a couple of my songs, again, I didn't write them for me. I think I kind of like slightly mentioned it, but I didn't write them for me. I wrote them for like girl groups or like boy groups or something like that. So yeah, I think that's kind of so K-pop a little bit gets that's where my inspiration comes from too, and they usually stick to love as well because it's just the safest. But yeah, I think all those things, love, story writing, storytelling, excuse me, just a little dash of K-pop. It came from like R&B and pop from the West. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, of course. No, yeah, I definitely love that. You're an amazing storyteller, and I love that you try to write your songs from like different perspectives. I think that's really,
Thanks.
really great. And speaking of K-pop and songwriting, you were actually mentored by one of my favorite K-pop songwriters, Chick, and
Mhm.
now everyone has the opportunity to like learn from such an amazing songwriter. What's
Yeah.
do you think is like the most valuable lesson you learned from her?
She told me something. I want to get it verbatim, but I know I'm not going to. She said, "Let the music tell you what it wants to do." And I
Mm,
was like, oh, because so often do we try to dictate, or especially as songwriters, or even as choreographers, we try to force a move, force a piece of choreography, words that don't really need to be there. Sometimes the song calls for a ooh instead of saying the actual words. Sometimes it calls for silence. Same thing with choreography. Not everything needs to be like pop, 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 hop dance crew. Sometimes it just needs a simple body roll, or I don't know, stop and stare at the audience. Um, so when she said, just let it tell you, let it guide you, that makes sense. You listen to it and then you meet it where it's at. And then you can always tweak it later on, but get that foundation first. Figure out what the sound is, and then let it tell you. Don't try like, I know. Listen to it, feel it, and write the words. So yeah. And
I love
she was right about that.
it. I love it. That's really beautiful. I'm definitely gonna write that one down.
Come on now.
So that's amazing. So yeah, speaking of K-pop, like
Yeah.
how did you get introduced to K-pop? And is there something you enjoy most about K-pop more than like other genres?
Okay, good questions. Because this question is kind of tricky, especially as a Western artist. Because if I say like K-pop a little bit too much, they're like, I'm like, okay, like I like it. Or if I say like Western too much, then people are like, but are you really a K-pop fan, or do you only know BTS and Blackpink? It turns into a thing. Um, that was a cute face. Um, but yeah, so to answer the first, what was the first part of the question? I'm sorry. Go back to the
Yeah,
first.
so just how did you get into K-pop?
How did
And
I
yeah, is there anything you enjoy most about K-pop when compared to like other genres?
got into K-pop because I'm actually an anime fan. You can't really see behind me, but my merch is actually inspired by Naoko Takeuchi's Sailor Moon artwork. So you can see it kind of here, and you can see this one is inspired by anime. So I found K-pop by way of anime. Inuyasha was my kind of go-to. I heard the ending theme song. I thought, wow, what a nice song. And it was Every Heart. So I YouTube it, and by this time, YouTube was kind of in its advent. It was just, oh, what's this brand new thing? And K-pop was just getting thrown on there too. And found Boa's Every Heart. Thought she was Japanese because she was singing in Japanese. Come to find out, she's this whole Korean girl, like age. I don't know. I forgot how old she was at the time, but I was still in elementary school, and she had just come to the U.S. for her promotion. So that's like 2000 something. Gosh, I'm a baby. So, but yeah, so when all of that came out, I was like, whoa, hang on, there's more to her than just the Inuyasha song. And that's why I got to K-pop. Not because of a boy group. I didn't get into like the boy stuff until I saw Taeyang from Big Bang. And I was like, who is oh my goodness. Wow, it's nice. And he's already on his solo by then. So I was like, whoa, he has no shirt on. That's when I switched over. But Boa, hands down, was my influence for sure to kind of get into it and get sucked into the wormhole.
Love it. Yeah, we love Bella over here as well. So random. Do you have like a favorite anime?
I'm crying. It's not random. Okay, only because of this nostalgia, I'll say that my favorite anime is Sailor Moon, obviously. But I think one of my favorite, like, I want to say my contemporary. Oh, that's tough because I'm kind of waning off shonen a bit. I'm like, where the ladies at, man? Where the ladies? No offense, but we're here too. Where the shoujo at? Where's the good shoujo stories? But let me think. The thing I remember watching and being like, oh, this is pretty good. What was that? I guess Attack on Titan. I felt so basic, but I finished reading the manga, so ha! For what comes from my life, the manga. I don't think I'm gonna watch the ending of the anime. Like I'm not gonna wait another 3 years to finish this anime.
So not only do you want to like write for K-pop groups, but you actually were almost in a K-pop group. Like I think
Oh my
that's
god. Oh, you're right.
yeah, I think that's super cool. Do you want
Thank
to talk
you.
about what that experience was like?
It's it's such a weird thing. I really was not trying to do that because people think because I like K-pop and I make music and I dance, I want to go there, right? The songwriting thing came after me wanting to choreograph for them. So like life happened, and I was like, I should write dancing. I don't know if this is gonna work. Um, but going back to that, so I was in a dance video for my friend's Pretty Savage original choreography. And because of that, I was Jenny. And then because of that, when I put the video up on TikTok, I was like, oh wow, talking about the nails and the eyebrow makeup that I was using because I was like sponsored at the time. And I just put it up because I was like, this is my obligatory post. Thank you for staying on with me for 6 hours. Bam. Next day, the thing blows up on the TikTok, and I was, wow, what's going on? This is amazing. Because I hadn't gone viral except for my like, there was this one post that got men very upset because either way, I put a very feminine forward post up there, and that's the time I went viral. After that, it was like whatever, just ad videos. So when that blew up, I was like, why? What's going on? People were like, oh my gosh, yes, this is Jenny's Pretty Savage. Like, oh my gosh, this is so fierce, girl. Wow, this is. I'm like, thank you. It's not my video. Um, and as the comments and things came in, some girl was like, some girl, her name is Christiana, Chrissy, hello. She said you should audition for DR Music for Black Swan, Rania, no, yeah, yeah, BP Rania, sorry. BP, yeah, Black Pearl Rania. Okay, so they're doing a thing. Black Swan's doing a thing. So they've gone through so many name changes. Oh, bless their hearts. Oh, sorry about that. I had a moment. I was like, a tangent. But yeah, so I sent in the audition. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever. We'll see what happens. And I got it in. People were being kind of mean about it, but once that happened, I got in. They called my name. I was like, holy smoke! So, it just kept going. I got to the final, and I was in the round that Gabby and I think Shreya, the young Indian lady, the young girl there, the young lady, she, um, I was in their round, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I was in their round. So I didn't get chosen, which is fine. But then a year later, they did another audition. I didn't get it because I was working on my music. It was not going to happen. But the process itself was interesting because it is almost like what you would experience if you were auditioning out in Korea, but there was a whole pandemic. Because I've just auditioned for JYP before, but didn't get it. But I danced well. Like I got good notes, but didn't get it because reasons. But yeah, with the DR music, I had a chance. I was a foreign girl that could possibly do it. So it was just submit the video, kept getting through, kept singing harder songs. And I thought, wow, this is stressful because you have to practice almost every day until you record it to make sure it's perfect. Because there is no, can I do that again? There is no, stop the music. So yeah, the experience itself was interesting because it was a little long. I was waiting. I was like, I'm not gonna make it. Then they called my name, and then I didn't get in. I was like, that's fine. But I knew that someone looked at my file because I sent the wrong file for my final audition. And then I sent the WeTransfer, and they tell you when people download your stuff. So they rewatched it. I was like, thank goodness. And that's what got me through. I was like, God, thank God. But yeah, I haven't auditioned for anything else really. But that experience was interesting because I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna make it. You know? The age that I am, I'm in like my mid-20s, right? So it turns into this thing where it's like, girl, they don't like your age anymore. That and you're a Black woman. So it just turned into a thing. So, but now their whole group is completely Western, which is really impressive. So it's exciting for them.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing about your experience and congratulations on making it. I can't like imagine what that experience is like going through all that. And yeah, hopefully, Black Swan will make some changes in the industry, but we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
uh, but yeah, so do you have like a dream group or artist that you would want to like write for or work with?
mm. Work with maybe I would say Card because I think like in terms of like music type and aesthetic, it would make a little bit more sense 'cause we're all older. But aside from that, I actually like their music. Like they were on the whole tropical island sound before everyone, then they switched over. I wish they hadn't, which any hoodle doodle, I digress. They'll be fun to work with maybe. Right for? Oh, I'm trying to think because I grew up listening to SM. Like I can honestly, I mean, Boa, YG, so I'm very much into a more R&B based K-pop song structure or K-pop top line, which is R&B influence. A lot of groups now, outside of like New Jeans, aren't leaning toward more R&B kind of like chorus or anything like that now. So or they get told they're copying SM. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to decide who I would want to write for at this time because of what I grew up with. But New Jeans seem like they're a type that I would want to write for because they sound like old like FX music. Like I love FX. So maybe them or let's see. I wrote a song for Twice when I was writing with Chick. So maybe Twice. No, that's not Twice. I lied. Red Velvet. I said that with my whole chest. I'm thinking about their tour though. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta buy tickets. But yeah, I think Red Velvet or even SM's new girl group outside of aespa because aespa is doing hyperpop and I like hyperpop, but right now they're in a transitional period. I don't know where they're going. So maybe a future girl group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think either or. I definitely think I can see you doing like SM. Like I also really like SM, like R&B. Like I can see that.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That'd be a perfect fit for sure.
Thank you. Or if Chungha needs a songwriter, I would love to write a song for Chungha. I was just like, "Ugh, girl, you're like you have the perfect. Let me work with you. Yes. Okay. So Chungha, there's someone. Yes.
Yes, love
Yeah.
Chantel. Think a little bit about, struggles of being a Black woman in the K-pop industry, but just in general, like Black Music Month is coming up. And
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you could maybe share like any struggles you face as a Black woman in this industry and any accomplishments as well that you'd like to share.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I've worked in studios where they usually get people that don't look like me to make music that sounds like me. And that's been one thing I've seen. I'm like, oh wow, that's tough. How do you not take that kind of personally? Like maybe the person's been there longer or blah 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 blah. But if you know I should sing the demo, why not just let me sing the demo? You know? No tea or shade to know anyone, but you just a certain kind of thing that we do with our voices that are not typically present in other typical like pop voices, right? So, it's not fair. I'm joking, totally joking. But yeah, times like that was when I thought, wow, this is dang, all you have to do is just ask. Or my age has gotten in the way too. People think I'm younger, a lot younger than what I am. Because I think I have an effervescent personality. I'm like, don't this effervescence confuse you. Um, like don't let it trip you up. Um, but yeah, I think my age as well. So, with K-pop though, I've become very fortunate that the woman that I have met K-pop artists through, she is known for bringing K-pop to a global audience, like in the New York kind of base. MJ of I Love Dance. I was gonna say ILD, and any kind of segment I worked on, I do believe the staff, like she showed the staff, like here's who we have, and I was included in the who's here's who we had, and there was no like, oh no, we can't have her. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the opportunities I've gotten, I think because I've had that buffer of MJ. She's not like my company like CEO or anything like that. She might as well be. If I've worked anything in K-pop or like K-pop or K like adjacent, a lot of it has come from her, especially if it's music or something like that. So I've gotten lucky where it's not, this awkward situation and these people do want to engage in a global market. And it doesn't hurt that I know at least a little bit of Korean. But I can't say the same for my friend. I have a friend, she's a choreographer in Korea, and it is so difficult because she literally gave one artist like a whole like dance style to kind of work with, and now that that artist is phasing out of that concept, which is fine, we all need to grow. It's there's no room for her to really like submit choreography in a way that's like really impactful as it was in the beginning of the idol's career. So I can't say that it's easy for other Black women in Korea or in K-pop. I cannot say that it's I've just gotten lucky that the opportunities have come my way is because people were asking for me. Because of the reputation I've built, or at least the connections I've made. People actually say, "Oh, she's a nice girl. She knows what she's talking about," or "She knows a little bit of Korean. Bring her." So I've gotten so fortunate. I'm not even going to be like, "Well, girl, they just love me. I'm the special one." I'm not. um, it's just I've gotten lucky. I've had like a buffer. So I think in terms of like any advice I could give to someone trying to get into K-pop as a person of darker complexion, um, is be willing to hear no and acknowledge that it might be because of what you look like, but also be willing to hear no because it's a cultural thing. I don't think you can really present yourself in a way that would fit what they're looking for the brand or for whatever they're doing at the time. Because I think a lot of us get caught up in, well, I like it so much, and they have a rapper in the group. Why don't they like me? And it's like, babe, no. Unfortunately, being a rapper means anything to anyone right now, so it don't matter. But yeah, my advice is to kind of just be willing to have someone be your buffer, someone to kind of be there with you and help you, and also try to, my thing is try to include someone from that culture in what you're doing, because too often do we as people of color get locked out of our own kind of genre of music, and then we're like, well, why don't they bring us in? Well, if you were trying to get into K-pop or anything like that, it is good to respect, find people you can work with, connect with them, so when opportunities do arise, it'll become a little bit more like, okay, I know Janet, okay, I know John. So sorry if I'm rambling. Oh my goodness, sorry, but yeah, that's my advice. Just
No, no.
make it a very symbiotic kind of thing. You know, that's how that synergy comes. It's not just like, well, I'm going to take from this and make myself feel special and then get upset when I don't get my way. Include those people in your life and so that they feel comfortable including you in theirs. That's my advice from what I've learned. It's not that easy, but when you get in there, it's like, oh, okay, I feel safe. Okay.
No, that's amazing advice. And I know a lot of people may wonder that, especially being, Black and they may or may not speak Korean. So
Oh,
that's,
yeah.
that's amazing. So do you have any particular advice for someone who may want to get into like songwriting or wants to be a singer and is like not sure where to begin?
Yeah, sure, sure, sure. So if you want to like expedite the process, get a mentor. Because I would say that me being pushed with someone else watching, like you got a week, it definitely encouraged me. But yeah, no, if you want to start, it's bare bones. YouTube. That I know it's like, oh my god, really? But now you can also go to Chat GPT, excuse me, because that will give you all your answers too. But no, outside of that, getting into songwriting, you definitely want to listen to the artist that you want to write for or the artist that you want who you want to become, because even in K-pop, if you look at any of the trainees videos, they're singing American songs or singing songs of artists that have similar voices or kind of deliver the same kind of emotion, etc. So it's always best to align yourself creatively, of course, but mentally as well with the artist that you're trying to write for, that you want to become, that you want to choreograph for. Otherwise, you're just trying to project what you want to see onto them, right? So, when I was writing songs for like a boy group, I wouldn't say certain things like, "No, stopping that. You got me wanting that." Yeah, ooh, like I wouldn't. Come on, that's not what. No, especially for K-pop. So right, so I had to get into the shoes of whoever it was that I was writing for. Um, so listen to the music of those people and then try to write to those songs or write to style type beats. Like if you go to YouTube, you type so and so type beat. Type beats, they're everywhere on YouTube. That's what that's unfortunately it's everywhere, but also fortunately it's everywhere. So you can go through so many catalogs of just music that you could use for free. A lot of them say as long as you just credit them is for free unless you want to sell it. But yeah, use type beats, do research into songwriting structures, listen to other songwriters that you may not like or listen to on a regular basis and listen to how they tell a story. Like Taylor Swift, one thing I will give that girl is she wrote like a 10-minute song. Like she wrote a song for as long as I'm talking for each of these responses. I'm teasing. But no, seriously, I respect her songwriting. I don't think I would ever want to write a song like her. But if I wanted to figure out how to tell a story and figure out what it is that makes her music like make people want to listen to it, then hone in on that. Any kind of songwriting camp you're in, or any kind of like, even if you're making stock music, you'll get a brief from a company. I want a song that sounds like this person. I want a song that sounds like that person. So you got to kind of be ready to sound like that person. So definitely study up on artists that you like and love, artists that you don't like or love that much, and artists that your parents used to listen to because they were hits for a reason. So listen to those. Okay. And yes, there concludes my response of how you can hone your artistry. That, or you can actually reach out to me too. I do offer services, mild plug, but I realize it has expedited my process completely to have someone say, here's what you need to do. Here's my challenge for you. Because sometimes we are left to our own devices, we'll quit. So holla
Yeah,
at me if you'd like some help.
definitely. Thank you for sharing. It's very clear you have so much wisdom, and we have a lot of new artists, rising artists who want
Mm.
to get started. So I hope they hop on your services because you have a lot to offer.
I have a couple, but mostly in movement and like one songwriter kid. Yeah, look at me. My kids. I call my kids. They're all my kids. Even if they're like the same age. You're my kid.
Yes, yes, love that. All right, let's talk about music. You have a album coming out
Yay.
and you recently
Yeah.
had a release party. Is there
Yeah.
anything you'd like to share with our audience about your upcoming project?
Yeah. As you're like talking, I'm like getting excited about it. So I think about three of the songs. No, hang on. Here I am, like it. Oh yeah, about three of the songs are actually K-pop demos. Two of which I wrote while working with Chick. Um, and with working with her, oh, and with working with her, I mean, like, she was guiding me. She didn't like, okay, this is how you write the song, right? Like this. I'd write the song, and then she'd listen to it the next week and give me notes and feedback. So yeah, Here I Am is the lead single I'd say for Chroma in terms of like strength and like you could see the growth from I Like You. I wrote that for a girl group. I don't know which one. Me and my friend were trying to figure as a joke, like, oh, we should. Oh my God, could you imagine AOA? Because AOA had just come back at the time on Queendom. So we're like, oh, give it to AOA. So I put some haze in the demo. I'm such a jerk. I was like, hey, in the demo. But yeah, sorry, my bad. Going back to like that one is definitely like a K-pop one that I wrote, and she gave me very minimal notes on that. And I was like, oh, this is great. So yeah, I mean, there's 6 songs on the album. The song is called Chroma, and each of the songs represent a color or a Shantone, like Pantone meets Chantel Nicole. So Shantone together, and also tones are sounds, right? So I was like, oh yeah, colors. This is great. It's easy. So yeah, there's 6 songs. And they're all talking about, I guess, life and love and the fun you can have in life and love. There's only one like sad song. That's like the first song, which is Red, which is passion, you know. So that's the only song I can remember being like really sad. There's nuanced sadness at the last song, but oh guys, I'm so excited. I want everyone to really like listen to it and enjoy it because I've been waiting to release it for so long. Oh my God. But yeah, I'm proud of the colors that the songs represent and the sounds that each of them have. I want to say I don't have a favorite because they're all good in the genre that they represent. They're all like the Chroma serves as a palette in pop music, and each song is a color that I'm dipping my brush in and showing you, right? So yeah, there's a future-based inspiration, jazzy inspiration, like old school Aaliyah meets Red Velvet inspo on one song, like some Spanish on another. Like, yeah, come on now, you know. I like to use my influences of life. Like I'm like Slumdog Millionaire, but Slumdog Writer. Whatever has happened in my life, it somehow gets thrown in my music, right? So yeah, Spanish, K-pop, jazz, EDM, it doesn't matter. It's going on that. I make it sound like my album's a mess. Oh my God, it sounds crazy.
Oh, no. You said it's gonna be you said you're eclectic, so I'm feeling the eclectic vibes.
Yeah, it's all cohesive though. I had someone who worked on a K-pop album master my album, and he was like, "This is actually really good. This is really cohesive." I said, "Good." That would have been so embarrassing. I'm like, "Oh, I love." He worked with Zion T, so I love Zion T. You know, I would hate for a producer master for Zion T to be like, "Oh, that sucks." I would be like, "Oh, you know what? He's right," and the song could be a hit. I'd be like, "He's right." I mean, I'm teasing. I would never let a man tell me my music's bad. I'm joking. But yeah, sorry, you can continue.
Oh no, no, I'm definitely looking forward to it. It sounds like there's going to be a song for everybody on there, so I'm very excited for whenever it gets released. I'm looking
Thank
forward to
you.
it.
Me too.
The last question I have is just, do you have any message you want to share with your fans or, maybe new listeners from our audience?
I would like to share. I'm so happy that you all have given this interview a listen. That's first. Because I don't ever take anyone's attention for granted. I think even you and I were discussing, like through messages. I just want to make sure I'm not disrespecting anyone. Yeah, I don't like to assume that anyone owes me their attention, because time and energy are a very, very precious resource and apparently are unrenewable. I'm always at a deficit for sleep and time. Can't go back to it, right? So I appreciate people listening. And I think my fans now, I call them my wings. Because they got my back, girl. I cannot wait for the jokes when I actually get popping, like fans bringing chicken wings. I would love that. That's my light stick until I get one. um, but yeah, I appreciate them being so patient, and then when they listen to a song, telling me the truth. Like I had a friend tell me that the first song on the album, she was like, I don't know how I feel about it, but she kept listening to it, and when I told her what the meaning of it was, she realized why I wrote the song a certain way. She's, oh, I can't stop listening to it now. So yeah, my friends will tell me up front, give me feedback, and I appreciate that. So just know that if you are becoming a new fan, that you are engaging with someone who's very, very animated. I'm 4D as heck. You can feel this energy. Yeah, like I'm totally joking. I'm like a Dragon Ball Z character. Um, but yeah, so I want them to understand that this music is going not just through my ears, but through people like yours ears. Unfortunately, I don't have like a huge team yet, but I do have a solid group of friends who would tell me if something's bad. So a lot of the music's getting filtered. Some of them even help me pick songs on the album. Some of my friends are like, okay, this is actually like a really good one. So yeah, I think you'll find something to like for sure. And if you like K-pop, you like my music, because I wrote like 3 songs for K-pop artists. You can tell right off the bat, like, oh yeah, she listens to K-pop when you hear like 3 of the songs on the album, which is basically half the album. But not in like some cheesy girl crush kind of way. I will say that. I think people, when they think of K-pop and they think of Westerners doing it, it's like this, blam, blam, like you're supposed to be crump dancing to it. And I'm like, no, this is not girl crush at all. I write like very much like old school pop music, R&B music from 2000, like here in the West. So with just a little K-pop influence of maybe being a little bit more melodic in the chorus, or just bringing a special sound or post chorus. That's the only thing that you would be like, oh, it's K-pop, but not like, yeah, I'm hot, yeah, hot, nah. You know, that kind of very typical Western style K-pop. Sorry, y'all. No tea, no shade. I just can't do it. But yeah, so you can rest assured that I'm not like Ollie Londoning like K-pop music right now. Sorry, Ollie. Sorry.
Love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing and telling us about your upcoming project. We're looking forward to it. HALSUG will always be supporting you, and we thank you so much for meeting with us today. And hopefully, people will enjoy this interview and really learn something because you shared so much wisdom. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it up.